Welcome on back, everybody. We're here. It's exciting. It took shorter than I thought it would.
It took as long as we thought it would, but
it also feels like we started this last weekend.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, but we're here.
We've gotten through a lot.
We just watched Avengers: Infinity War, and I'm Bladen, that's Joe, and we just watched Avengers: Infinity War. Welcome back, everybody. This is the MCU retrospective. We have committed ourselves to rewatching the entirety of the MCU in anticipation of Avengers: Secret Wars, the end of the MCU as we know it. I already said I'm Bladen, and he's Joe, and he's going to give you a quick rundown synopsis of the film, and then we'll get into the review.
So, as Thanos collects the Infinity Stones, he discovers resistance to his goals. He sends his children to Earth to recover the 2 stones there, while he goes after the other stones. The Avengers, the Vigilantes from the Avengers, and the Guardians of the Galaxy must come together to battle their biggest threat yet. Avengers: Infinity War premiered at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles on April 23rd in 2018 and was released in the United States on April 27th. So, hot takes about this movie.
What do you want me to say?
I have a slight one. I mean, I know it's not really a hot take, but Groot sucks in this movie. But
if that's the hot take you're throwing out, there's not a lot of hot takes about this movie.
There's really not a lot of hot takes. I think it's not really hot take, but I think this movie only ranks second for me out of all the MCU.
Behind Winter Soldier?
Yeah, right behind Winter Soldier, but simply because you have to have all the other movies to build up to Infinity War, whereas Winter Soldier, if that was the only Captain America movie that was made, no Iron Man, nothing else, it would have been fine. Like, that's the only reason that I put Winter Soldier above this one.
All right. Well, we'll wait till we get to the ranking.
Yeah, but that's part of my hot take.
Because I'm going to put this in a D.
No! But yeah, so is this a good movie?
No.
Oh yes.
No. Terrible.
Terrible movie.
All the lead up led up to just this awful horror. No, I'm kidding. No, of course this is a great movie.
This is a fantastic movie. Like, there's no denying that. Even if you weren't a fan of MCU, everyone wanted to see this movie. Like, this is probably, I mean, aside from Endgame, the biggest theatrical thing ever to happen. Like, not the biggest box office. There was other ones before it, but like the biggest theatrical event.
I mean, just bringing together, like, what was it at that
10
point?
years.
10 years.
10 years of movies.
10 years of movies. And they brought all the characters in. They made such a great crafted story throughout those 10 years. And just the build up and lead up to this is insane.
Yeah. And the ending.
I mean, this is the first time I was ever in a movie theater. And at the end of the movie, there was just silence throughout the entire theater. Like, sure, you go to a movie and the movie ends, and there are those fans who are there who know what's and some people get up and they leave. But at the end of this movie, everyone was just
even
silent.
People who knew this was a possibility to happen.
Like, just nobody said anything. You could hear a pen drop. Like,
for sure. And I think the only reason that I wasn't surprised that it ended on such a somber note was simply because they had originally planned Avengers: Infinity War Part 1, and that's how they announced it.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason that I knew it was going to end on a somber note. I didn't realize how somber.
Yeah, like
I didn't think he was going to, it was going to do the specific people that it did. But it was definitely, there. But, yeah, no. Fantastic movie. And everything.
Took a big swing with this movie.
They didn't. But if you could change things about this movie, would you?
No. I wouldn't change a single thing about
I would change one thing. What? And that's Peter Dinklage as an actual dwarf like he is in the comics. Like, why change the size of the dwarves to be giants? Like, what was the point of that?
They're big in the comics.
Do you remember Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Well, they
He
weren't like,
comes up to Iron Man's
like
hip.
massive, but still.
Well, yeah,
it's
no,
like,
they're like big burly, but they're not big tall.
I
like,
guess, but that's not enough of something for me to be like, I'd change it. I don't.
no,
care.
I would change that because it's done for a joke and it doesn't even get like called out. Like if Rocket was to say something like, "Oh wow, you're big for a dwarf," like I think it would have been funnier that way. But yeah, that's the
Coming
only
from the
thing
guy
I
who
would have
doesn't
really
like
changed.
random jokes thrown in these Marvel movies.
Yeah, but this is one of the better ones that they actually did well with the humor. So yeah,
That is true. There was a lot of stuff in here where I could have rolled my eyes and been like, oh, come on, really? We're just throwing that joke in there? But it all worked.
yeah, and it worked well for this movie. They took the serious parts, and the serious parts were serious, and they took the less serious parts, and they were like, okay, we can throw a joke in here. Like,
and they worked the humor into the serious parts too. Like when Spider-Man's like webbing up all the people, he's like, I'm sorry, I forgot all your names.
Yeah. But yeah, no. The only thing I would change was make Peter Dinklage the dwarf an actual dwarf rather than a giant. Like, why call them dwarfs?
Because
and in the comic books, they are dwarves, so why change them into giants? But do you like when this was released timeline wise?
Where else?
I mean, yeah.
Where else would you release? No, this should have been the first movie that came out.
This question's kind of just. I'm gonna say it because, and we always ask it for the MCU movies.
But no, I think it came out perfect time.
See,
maybe it could have come out after Captain Marvel.
It would have been interesting to have Captain Marvel come first,
or maybe even Ant-Man and the Wasp could have come out before this.
No, because of the end credit scene.
Well, just change the end credit scene.
Yes, I mean, admittedly, yes.
Then
and
you
you could have
could've-
put the end credit scene from Ant-Man and Wasp into Avengers Infinity War rather than the...
And then you could have had the
Fury
two
one.
post-credit scenes. You could have had the Captain Marvel one and the Ant-Man and the Wasp one. And the movie right after this would have been
I actually
Endgame.
really appreciate that they only put one end credit
Oh,
scene
yeah,
in
it was
this
cool.
Like,
for sure.
Having
But I remember
it where
sitting in
you
the movie
have
theater
that
and I'm like...
build up and you're waiting, and then it puts Avengers Infinity War, and then it disappears, and there's nothing, and the credits start playing again, and you're like, no. It's like, dude, no.
Yeah, but I remember sitting in the movie theater and I told my parents, like, no, we have to stay! And then nothing happened. I'm like,
no, wait a second. There's gotta be something else.
No, just wait a little longer.
Yeah, but it was perfect timing. Again, the things that I would change timeline wise would be the other movies rather than this movie. Yeah. So the movies around it I would have moved, but not this movie itself. CGI
looked great. I don't think there was one moment where it pulled me out. I know you called out a few
little bit of floating
moments with Iron Man, but I didn't.
Well, the worst one is Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of floating head, but other than that,
they didn't pull me out of
the CGI. The CGI was phenomenal in this one. Like the start, honestly, the start to the finish, the CGI looks fantastic, and it blows me away rewatching the opening and having Hulk versus Thanos like be that opening gut punching scene, like of this is what the CGI is going to look like through this movie.
Oh, that looked amazing.
It's so good, like going through that. Character wise, you think the characters are consistent?
Yeah, and I don't know how they were. Like, you had every character in here. Every character served a role. The role they served made sense for their character, and the characters were consistent with what we saw in the MCU.
Yeah.
This movie is like a flash in the pan, lightning strikes. Like, this movie shouldn't work as well as it does, and somehow it lands in every conceivable aspect.
Yeah.
Which in some ways Endgame didn't for me.
Yes,
we'll get there. We'll get there when we talk about Endgame.
No big spoiler. At least personally, I like this movie better than Endgame.
Oh yeah, I think that's like a very, very normal opinion people have.
Yeah. The character that I wish they had changed a little bit was Thor and gone back to him being actually Thor rather than Ragnarok Thor. But I mean, they had Ragnarok Thor.
In the character design? Or
No. The character consistency. Yeah. Like, bring him back.
But he did sort of get more serious, and then once you get to Endgame,
but then he didn't get like enough screen time once he got serious to actually be.
Well, then
Thor
once you get to Endgame, he's back to that brooding Thor, and then you get.
But he's brooding fat Thor, so It's
Yeah.
like,
And then
it's
it's like
frustrating.
less of like a brooding and more of just, oh, that's sad.
yeah. Other than that, for character consistency, like, yeah, no, everyone does really well. I don't think there's a single character that stands out to me as being inconsistent for this entire movie, which, considering the size of the cast, is impressive. But personal best performance in this movie.
That's tough because every character has a standout moment. Obviously you got Chris Evans as Captain America, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron
Yeah.
Man. Josh Brolin as Thanos, dude.
Josh Brolin as
Holy
Thanos,
crap.
and
I would say Tom Holland as Spider-Man in this movie was a standout performance for me. The way that he brought the humor in to the movie, and that ending scene where he's fading away, dude, that messes me up every time I watch it.
One of the things that I really liked for the performance, anyways, was Peter Quill's. Like, his performance is good. Obviously, the actions, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But his performance, like the scene where Thanos is holding Gamora, and she's like, "You promised me." Like, that scene almost always breaks me, and it's like, oh, even when you know it's coming and you know he's not able to kill her, like, it's still like hit the look on his face, and like
he's like
lowers the gun so slowly, and it's like you can feel every bit of emotion in that second, and it's like, oh, that scene is really good. And yeah, no, even though I don't agree with his actions, he acts it out well. But yeah, no. Yeah, as you said, Josh Brolin, most of the main cast. I feel like Scarlett Johansson
didn't really do much to do. Neither did Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo's. I think I even have a note where I was like, well, we got the worst and best Hulk, which I feel like I say all the time for Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Like, the opening scene with him versus Thanos, really good, really great. And then
the rest of the movie,
it's like, why Hulk doesn't say no. If Hulk loses, he gets mad and he's like, "I'm going to kill you." Like, there's no question
but it's supposed
about
to show how serious Thanos is.
I realize that.
Why I don't get why we couldn't have just had like maybe like the travel messed with Bruce Banner or something.
Something that separated Hulk from Bruce, which would actually give a legitimate reason for Smart Hulk later
on the way down, like maybe like on the way down in the Bifrost, Hulk like
something about the magic being used because
like
to
we see when he gets taken, he's Hulk, and when he lands, he's Banner. What if at that point, like somehow the Bifrost like separated them into two people, and then like halfway through the Wakanda battle, Hulk just shows up.
Yeah, like,
and it's like, what the hell?
When Thor comes back down in the Bifrost, like part of it comes out and hits. Yeah, like something like that would have been interesting to do. But I understand why they didn't do it.
I understand what they did and why they did it, because again, it's a whole nother plot line you got to put in there and explain. So I think for what they did it very well.
Yes, for sure. But still, it's out of character for Hulk.
Yeah, I agree.
But any more personal best performances?
Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange was really good in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I liked a lot of his scenes. I mean, from the start, he's not quippy, but he's like,
he's got that dry humor.
Yeah, he's got a dry humor about him, which, one, is character consistent, and two, it works well when he's in certain situations.
And he also gets a character arc. They all get character arcs in this movie too, which is also another thing, because they could have just had them all be flat characters throughout the movie, and like it would have been fine.
Yeah, and it would have been fine.
Good arcs.
Just about everyone gets good arcs,
or an arc.
Yeah,
at least.
I mean, Natasha didn't really. Rhodey didn't. Like, there's a couple of characters, but a lot of character arcs happen in this movie.
Yeah, more than you would have expected.
Yeah, more than you would want or even think would be possible, and then they did it well. So, end credit scene, which brings in Captain Marvel.
It was good build up for the movie.
It's a decent build up, but again, like I've said before, I don't think I've said in our videos, but why does it have to be Captain Marvel? Why wasn't it someone else?
Could I pitch you an alternative ending?
Sure, go for it.
So, the screen's black, and credits are over, and we pick up on a farm. And on this farm, there's a kid. He's just sitting there. He's got a skateboard, listening to music. Something comes crashing out of the sky. He walks over to it, and a Nova helmet lifts up out of the crater. And he touches it. Big surge of energy, cut to black. Nova will return in Avengers Endgame.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Endgame, but I mean, they didn't have the title Endgame picked out, right? Because it wasn't.
It was announced after this movie.
It was like,
but it could have been Nova will return, or something.
Yeah,
and then you could have got a Nova movie instead of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, no, I agree. And see, my thought for a change to the end credit scene would have been Xandar itself, and you see Xandar destroyed and everything, and like there's barely anyone left, and they're like, "We've been working on this project for a while." And like they're like, we're too weak to use it. Like, where do we send this? And then they're like, we'll send it to Earth. And then you get the Nova helmet there. Like, and then you don't even have to have your casting already chosen for this movie.
Which you wouldn't have to. You could have just kept them in shadow or something.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think they should have built up for Nova rather than Captain Marvel. One, because it connected to the universe better. And two, they ruined Captain Marvel's character.
Or what could have happened is we're on the planet we saw in Guardians Volume 2. The Emperor gets dusted, and that activates the machine, and Adam Warlock walks out.
Yeah. That could have worked too. But yeah,
But for what we got,
yeah, no, it was good. And if I never watched Captain Marvel, I would have probably said that end credit scene was fine.
Yeah. But then we get Captain Marvel.
We get Captain Marvel, and I don't like the movie. So, yeah. But so ranking this movie. I mean, I've already said where I rank it. Second place on. Admittedly, I do love this movie, and again, if you're taking it as purely a movie by itself, it would go underneath Winter Soldier for me. Because if you have just Winter Soldier and you were to just watch that and have no other history with anything, like even the comic books, like you could put that movie and be like, this is fine. But because of how much history is tied into Infinity War, you have to have a lot of knowledge going into it. And that's the only reason that I put it lower than Winter Soldier. As a culmination of everything, yes, it is better than Winter Soldier. But on a tier list as a movie by itself, it's under Winter Soldier. And I'll leave it up to you. You can put it above if you want. You can put it below if you want. But
because my only thing is that Winter Soldier and Infinity War aren't my top two.
Okay.
So if I'm going, because Infinity War is in my top two, but Winter Soldier isn't.
Again, as a whole, everything makes Infinity War better.
Yeah.
By itself, Winter Soldier. That's how I'm putting that ranking. And again, sometimes that changes. Sometimes I do say Infinity War is better than Winter Soldier. Very rarely, simply because I always do think of, you have all this build up towards it.
I'm going to put Infinity War at number 1. Only because I don't think you're going to let me get away with my true number 1 in my heart.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that at number 1. So should we go over the rankings real quick?
Movies? Go for that quick.
So
I'll pull up my notes.
With Avengers Infinity War, our new rankings are S tier, Infinity War, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America the First Avenger. A tier, Civil War, Avengers, Iron Man, Age of Ultron. B tier, Doctor Strange, Thor, Iron Man 3, Ant-Man, Black Panther, Homecoming, Iron Man 2, Thor the Dark World. C, Guardians Volume 1, Incredible Hulk, Guardians Volume 2, and D tier, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
you want me to do with the shows or not?
No.
We'll do that at Endgame.
At Endgame, we'll go through everything that's at that point. But yeah, so one nitpicky thing, I brought it up while we were watching the movie, the 4-armed Chitauri aliens.
Yeah, you don't like them.
It's not that I don't like them. I really love their design, and I love from comic book page to the movie. But in the comic books, they are very few in number. They are espionage based, and specifically, they go into people's minds to extract thoughts and find details so they can attack places. So having them be the main force when you already shown the Chitauri attacking
I'm going to be completely
New
honest
York,
with you. The first time I watched this movie, I could not tell the difference. I thought that the Chitauri were just these creatures with armor. Going to be so honest with you.
Yeah, no, but they aren't, because the Chitauri only have 2 arms.
I know.
But yeah, no. So in the comics, literally first time you see them,
the justification for that is when the ship at the end of Avengers was blown up, all the Chitauri dropped dead.
Yeah, but those ones are still a Chitauri race. Like they're a sub race of the Chitauri. Also, they show the worms flying around in other movies after Avengers. So so not all the Chitauri are dead. But yeah, no. It was silly to use that design. No, there's which one was it? Is it Guardians 2? They have one of them flying around somewhere. I feel like it was in the background of one of the Guardians movies. But yeah, no. Those specific aliens, whether Chitauri or not, they're in the comics, they're designed specifically for espionage and for pulling information from people who would not willingly give it ever.
Yep.
But yeah. So, other thoughts. Opening for this movie.
So good.
Best opening in the MCU. You have Ebony Maw giving his monologue over the dead bodies of Asgardians, which I have problems with, but we'll get to that in a second.
Not because of this movie.
Not because of this movie, but because of what happens later. But just that monologue. Then you have the only people who are alive are Hulk, Thor, Loki, and Heimdall. Heimdall is on his last legs. Loki obviously dies right after that. Hulk gets sent away, and Thor's blown up in the wreckage of the ship. Like the amount of things from that, like, what an opening to a movie. Like,
I'm going to disagree. This is a very good opening. It might make my second place, but my first place, it's got to be Age of Ultron. You got all the Avengers going through, doing their thing, taking out Hydra. It's the embodiment of the MCU for me. The Avengers are the main team of the MCU, and just seeing the main members just going through, tearing up a place.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
I can get behind it, but
I understand your reasoning for putting this above it, but for me, that's just like, and also I just think Age of Ultron is just such an underrated film in the MCU that I'm gonna sing its praises whenever I can. And for me, the opening is great
for sure. And again, we ranked Age of Ultron pretty highly, and if it wasn't for one stupid thing in there, which does get a mention,
it could be an S tier,
but the way they treat it in this one is how they should have treated it for all the rest of the things after Age of Ultron, and everyone hated it. Where literally
it's one glance.
He says, "Oh, hi, Nat," and she's like, "Oh, hi, Bruce," and then
that's it.
And then Sam goes, "Oh, this is awkward," and then they cut the scene, and that's it. That's literally all they get. And for that. I was like, thank goodness.
I would even say that Sam saying this is awkward didn't need to be there, but
yeah, I would agree with that. Like, you wouldn't need any more than that. But yeah, Tony and Pepper are married in this movie, which means at Homecoming, obviously, when he proposed, she said yes,
obviously,
and
now he's talking about having a kid.
They've been married what? Homecoming to Infinity War is only like a couple months, right?
I always thought it was more closer to like a year afterwards.
Well, remember, he's like working on his tech to switch it to nanotech in Homecoming. So, like, I don't know. It's hard to say for sure, but
They even I don't know who messed it up, if it was Homecoming or if it was this movie, but they say it was 6 years
6 years
since
since
Avengers, and then
one.
in Homecoming they say 8 years since.
Yeah.
So I don't
A
know.
little bit of inconsistency there, but not specifically towards the movie's inconsistency.
No, I mean either one worked.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. They could have easily changed it to say 8 years in this one, and it still would have fit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, not a big deal. The Iron
Wait.
Spider suit.
So if you go by that logic, and you go by the fact that Iron Man takes place only like a year before the Avengers, the span of the blip takes place pretty much all of this, and we got nothing from it. Yeah. If it was 6 years since the Avengers, everything from here down takes place in the same time as the blip, and we got nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. And we talked about it, I think, in Black Panther's video, that Hawkeye's really the only thing that like deals with the blip compared to anything else. Like, some things make mention to it, but Hawkeye's like the only show that actually deals with some of the blip. And
yeah, like Far From Home references
it.
Echo has a scene from it.
Yeah,
but Hawkeye's the only one that really like.
Yeah, because it's focuses
on it.
Because it's focused on Ronin, who was active during the blip.
Yep.
Other than that, they probably wouldn't have been focused on it. It's so frustrating that happened. But Iron Spider suit.
The design is bad. I do like how they used it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And the design isn't even terrible. It's just bad.
Yeah.
Especially when you compare it to the comics.
Yeah. No, Iron Spider from the comics is, man, like,
and I even feel like
that's one of my top suits for Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I feel like you even could have incorporated some of that Iron Spider from the comics and mixed in a little MCU. Like, you could have just made the suit red and gold, but give it the webs, or add a little accents of blue on like the underarms.
Yeah, something to make it look more like the comic books. And I don't know how it would look in live action, but I want a comic book accurate Iron Spider suit so bad in one of the live action movies.
Yep.
Like,
and we kind of get that. I feel like we know exactly what the Iron Spider suit from the comics would look like in the MCU because we got it in the Insomniac games.
I mean, we got it in the Insomniac games, but like the level of detail as a practical or a $20 billion movie CGI suit, like, it's gonna be a little bit different. So,
but I feel like if you wanted to see what that would look like in live action, go look at the Insomniac.
Yeah, you go to Spider-Man 2.
Because I mean, they even have the arc reactor like built into the suit in the game.
Yeah,
like that's literally MCU Iron Spider.
Yeah,
in the game, and I feel like it could have been taken from some concept art that was made for this movie.
Man, I gotta look at concept art for Iron Spider suit for this movie because I bet you they had some killer designs. Like, and the one we got was not it, unfortunately.
I feel like they were just like, if we do bring that in, then every single character we're gonna have in space is gonna be red and gold, except Doctor Strange. So we gotta mix it up just a little bit because you got Peter Quill, who's red.
Yeah.
Iron Man,
red and gold.
And then you have Mantis, who I guess is green. And then
Drax is red and gray.
Is red and gray.
And then Doctor Strange's cloak is red and blue. So yeah. I mean, all of them are except Mantis.
And
Nebula's blue, so there you go. Like,
but she's wearing red.
Yeah. Is she wearing red?
Yeah, she's still in the Ravager.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. She's still wearing the Ravager suit.
But
yeah, so all of them would have been either red or blue in in space, except for Mantis. Mantis gets to stand out in this movie a little bit.
Yep.
The Scarlet Witch and Vision relationship.
I thought it was interesting.
I like that they went for it. But I do wish that it had build up. I wish that Age of Ultron, instead of Hulk and Natasha, had built up Vision and Scarlet Witch. Like, just a slight suggestion.
Relationship instead of just something you wanted to throw in for no reason.
Yeah. Scarlet Witch's fighting style in this movie. I love the way that
where she like
moves.
throws her powers at people, and
yeah. I really like the way she was moving. I like the spots where Proxima Midnight is like swinging at her.
Oh, and
she's,
we
like,
didn't
stopping
when
it
we
and
were
stuff.
talking about standout performances. We didn't even talk about the scene where Scarlet Witch has to take the Mind Stone out of Vision, where he's like, "It's not fair that it's you, but it has to be."
But it has to be you.
And then just immediately it gets reversed, like that.
Yeah,
that's like just ripping your heart out twice, because you see the amount of pain and anguish it takes for Scarlet Witch to do that.
And now you get to see someone else kill him again.
Okay, cool. So all of that pain I just put myself through was for no reason. That's cool.
Yeah. The performances in this movie were top tier. Like, everyone was on their A game except Peter Dinklage. His performance left a lot to be desired, and not even just about the choice they made to make him a giant.
Are you talking about the scene where he's like, "You die"?
Yeah,
that's what
I mean.
That means
even the scene where he's trying to be emotional, he's like, he killed everyone. Like, it doesn't feel emotional coming from
probably because it's a giant head.
Maybe that's it, but it doesn't feel like he has any emotion coming off of him after his entire civilization was just killed except for him. Like,
which also, that's not half of the population, Thanos.
That is, it wasn't, but
maybe that's why so many characters got dusted on on Titan. He just had too many. He just had to be like, nope, sorry.
The fact that Thor speaks Groot, which we touched on in Guardians 1, I think,
or that Guardians is an actual 2, like language.
That it's an actual language, but then,
I'd be fine with him speaking Groot, just because it's like, yeah, he's an Asgardian.
Yeah, but you also have to have it so that other people either understand Groot or Groot can speak English, because if Groot is a language, then that means Groot can learn other languages. So that's where my problem.
If it is a language, why was it not in Peter Quill's thing?
Yeah, his translator. Yeah,
he just hadn't downloaded. He just didn't update.
Didn't update. But yeah, and see, the thing is, that line could have not been in the movie and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
So throwing that line in the movie made the problem. So that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, you literally could have just had Thor just be like, "Yeah, I understand. I'm an Asgardian. Of course, I understand."
Yeah, something
I understand
like
all languages.
It's like I've got a magic connection. Like, I'm literally magic. Like,
I'm a god. Like,
the Space Stone taking Red Skull to Vormir. What did you think of that?
I thought that was interesting. Like, it's a real FU to Red Skull to be like, you thought you could handle this? Oh, well, now I'm going to put you here, and you can never have it now. But you're always going to be next to it.
You can never die, and you're stuck here. Watching people kill other people.
Screw you.
Watching people kill other people.
Which also, is this like the first person that's ever come there? Because in Endgame, do we see Gamora's corpse with Black Widow's, or is it just Black Widow's corpse?
It's just Black Widow's corpse. I assume when the tower thing lights up and everything, the corpse disappears, because they even say, like, even if we had the time stone, we couldn't reverse that death.
Yeah. So what happens to the stone or the landmark when it's taken? So, because if it's taken, would Red Skull just be like,
it just disappears until someone else shows up?
Gone.
I mean,
can I leave now?
I kind of like the ambiguity for the Soul Stone, of where it's like, oh, it's not for sure what is going on.
Yeah, what's happening. Because it's definitely the Soul Stone that took Thanos to that spot at the end of the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
When he went in the water and stuff.
Yeah. And I love the scene when he wakes up in the water and raises his hand up and opens it, and the Soul Stone's there.
Yep.
Such a cool scene. But yeah, no. I like how uncertain it is what Vormir is and everything. I don't think everything should be that way at any considerable point.
Yeah.
But
I like how there's just this sort of mysterious element to all of the Infinity Stones. Yeah. Where it's like, we don't know what's really going on with them.
Yeah. But you do need all 6 to be able to take out half of the universe. So,
which I feel like you wouldn't need. I feel like you would only really need the Reality Stone to do that.
I mean,
You could just be like, reality changes, half the people weren't born.
the comic books do a much better job of making it
of
why
course
you
they
need all 6. And see, that's part of the problem I have with Infinity War is you have this much buildup to Infinity War, and you still only have like, oh, you would only really need the reality and the space stone.
Yeah, but
maybe
then
the
again-
power stone.
Yeah, but then again, I do like that because it's like
Yeah.
that ambiguity to what the stones actually do.
Yeah. But I think to some degree they should have been fleshed out a little bit more. But
You can always flesh things out more.
yeah,
So
yeah. There's unless you do it poorly.
Yeah.
Star Wars. But the action in this movie,
great.
I think I'll stand by what I say. I think the strategic and clever combat from Winter Soldier still beats it out. But the flashy, fun,
The epicness of
epic
this, yeah.
combat is so good in this. And if someone was to ask me which had better combat, I would definitely say this. If someone asked which one I enjoyed more, I would say Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
like,
and that's fair.
So just to put it as an aside. But yeah, what a moment in cinematic history this movie is. Like, just and again, Endgame as a cinematic moment for history probably beats it out, but this is the better movie for sure.
I feel like the only thing that really added up to the MCU, like the hype around it and what happened when like Infinity War came out and was the culmination of all this stuff, is probably the Star Wars universe. Because you had the original trilogy, which was beloved by everyone.
Yeah.
You had A New Hope, which set everything up, that build up, and then you get to the prequels where you see the origin of Darth Vader and everything. And I think the closest thing to this was probably the Revenge of the Sith. Seeing that culmination of all of that, because at that point, 6 movies, like,
yeah,
to have that much of a build up, it wasn't really heard of back then.
Yeah, for sure. And Revenge of the Sith, I mean, obviously has its problems. I won't deny that, but I do like that movie a lot. Like, I love Revenge of the Sith.
I mean,
and the overall idea behind it is a really cool way to do it. But
like, could you imagine if we got Infinity War Endgame and it's like, you want to see how Iron Man got to where he is right now?
Hey, it would be interesting. I'm curious if DC could have gone that route. If they had started with Justice League and been like, okay, then we'll go into origin stories after.
Where it could have been like, or not even like origin stories, just start with the Justice League movie and then you get their own solo movies. Because especially now, like, Superman, the movie wasn't an origin story. The one from 2025 wasn't an origin.
James Gunn's.
That wasn't an origin story. He was 3 years into his career. Why couldn't we just have started with a Justice League movie and then we saw that after? Like, yeah. But I do like what they did with the Superman movie. I'm not saying that's a bad movie. I love that movie.
Yeah. But anything else you want to add on Infinity War?
No, I think I'm good. Anything else I want to say? I probably want to say more for Endgame. So I'll save my thoughts for that.
The things that, well, I'll mention them now, but the fact that there's any Asgardians on Earth is a huge problem.
Yeah, because they should all be
literally. Not even Heimdall survived. Like, maybe you could make an argument that Valkyrie survived, but no one else from Asgard should be alive.
Yeah.
Korg should be dead. Meek should be dead. Any of the Asgardians. Axel should be dead. There should be no Asgardians but Thor left. And maybe Valkyrie. Maybe Valkyrie.
And you could get rid of her if you wanted to. No one's going to complain.
Yeah, but
I mean Sif, but that's just because Sif wasn't.
Yeah, that's true. Wherever she is at this point in the MCU. But yeah, so that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have made it quite far in our endeavors so far.
Yeah. So thank you for watching this part of the MCU retrospective. It's been a great journey so far, and we can't wait to lead up to Secret Wars. It's going to be quite a journey for that too. I'm Bladen. That's Joe. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.